What if there was one area of your business that could instantly unlock more profit, potentially double your net retained income with the same operational standard that you have now, meaning you don't have to work harder or smarter for it in your business, but simply by making a legal restructuring of the barriers that encompass your business, you would be able to instantly unlock more profit. What I'm talking about is tax optimization. My name is Sammy from Remove, and today I'm going to lead you through how you can greatly take advantage of the playing field that exists out there in business, specifically in the realm of tax optimization. I would like to take you through a little journey here before we lean into tax optimization, where we're talking about how you arrived at a successful business so that you can see step by step how and why tax optimization is very important for your business and why you also have a huge opportunity in front of you to unlock more growth in your business instantly. We're talking about today, as soon as you make a crossover with your legal restructuring, the barriers around your operational standard, how can you unlock more money? Because it exists right now within your business, within your grasp to actually take advantage of this. Now, how can you get a greater reward from what you're doing? So I'm going to ask for a little, I'm going to roll in a whiteboard here for you, and might as well also get off my jacket here. So first and foremost, for you and I to be able to resonate at a deeper level around the importance and the details of tax optimization that can benefit your business, I want to go through some of the steps that led you to having a profitable, successful business. And the reason I'm doing that is so that we can do a logical step-by-step to eventually arrive at the same page so that you can see the sense in how tax optimization is super vital for your business. First of all, let me do a high-level equation for you here. That is total sales minus cost minus taxes. Now that equals profit. And you are very well aware of these things that I'm going to talk about, but bear with me and stick with me for a little while because it would make sense once I lean into the tax optimization part that is relevant for your business as an online service provider. Now, if we go into the nitty-gritty of the details of how you go about this in your business model, I would make a beautiful structure for you here. We make a trapezoid, as it's called in two-dimensional geometry. And all businesses worldwide, even if you're running on a business, doesn't matter which business it is, has gone through these steps. It's the evolution of how you get to an operational, successful business that turns over a profit. Started with, first and foremost, an idea validation. Idea validation. And this is not a business class in no means. You already know all of these things. This is simply just so that we can resonate, and I will go through it briefly so we can get to the juicy stuff that is tax optimization. So at idea validation, you are figuring out what product is it that you are going to take to market. And you do that through some data analysis, or you're figuring out the different avenues of business and a segment of that market that you can serve. Then you have your market entry, and at your market entry, you are making the initial investments, you are raising capital perhaps, you are gathering together your team, you are figuring out the skills and education needed within your business plan in order to execute. And so you create a business plan that you then start executing on in your product development and marketing. This is where you are enhancing your services and taking that plan that you've created and making it tangible. You're turning it into tangible assets. So you're putting up websites, you're creating your sales funnels, you are creating your copy, you are getting the right guy in place to do your targeted advertisement. You are essentially figuring out how am I going to attract my segment of the market, and then how am I going to market to them? How am I going to present? That leads into sales and distribution. And excuse me here if this is very cramped together, but you get the gist of it. Sales and distribution is where you are figuring out how do you convert. You have already done that. You figured out how do I convert these clients through my customer acquisition strategies, how am I turning that into a sale? So how am I turning over $1 and eventually it turns into a profit? You're also figuring out your distribution channels. How am I going to deliver on the promise I give to the market? And eventually over time, you create dollars, baby. That is how we turn a profit, which leads us to operation and management. Now, this is where you are running your business. And as business owners, business operators out there in the world, the name of the game is this business of optimizing on some or all of the levels over time in order for you to turn out a greater profit. Now, we all know it's not about necessarily the amount of resource you put in, the hours, the money, the sweat equity. You can work very hard but not get return. It's about the leverage that they supply in your business. That's why you are using some sort of asymmetrical risk-reward investment concept in your business where you're thinking about how can I, with the diminished risk, do something that gives me a greater return, asymmetrical return as a reward from what I am doing. And that could be focusing on your sale, growing your sales team, workflows. It could be talent acquisition into your business. You're essentially operating and managing your business on making sure that you play the game better and better over time. You're moving the goalpost, and that is the nature of business that we all love. Sometimes it is also a hate and love relationship because business is not always easy, but this is what it takes. Now, the interesting part here, and the reason I took you through all of this is because most entrepreneurs, business owners, they stay within the operational layers of their business in order to increase return on the other side. And that's all fine and dandy. But what if there exists a matrix outside of your operational standard that directly affects the output from your business and can instantly unlock more profit without you having to work harder or smarter for it? And that is tax optimization. If I am to finish the structure here, you have tax optimization. Now, tax optimization is what all of the large corporations and smart business owners take advantage of. It lies outside of the operational standard, but directly affects the output of your business. So if you are a successful business owner turning over a profit, in order for you to amplify instantly the output for every dollar that you're earning, how do you retain more of that dollar? You can instantly affect that through tax optimization by amplifying your business. And I want you to think about this as a game. We're all playing the same game, but within the game, there are different climates and playing fields in which you can play the game in. And to make an analogy here in sports, let's say you are playing golf. I don't know if you play golf or not, but let's say you are playing golf. Follow along here in my metaphor. You can think with me on it. Let's say you're playing golf. You can play golf in different climates. Let's say you're playing golf in a terrible climate. There's a lot of wind. There's not a lot of visibility. And for some reason, you're playing golf with snow all the way up to your knees, which is not how you should play golf. But that makes the game very burdensome. It makes it very difficult for you to have putts, for you to sink the ball in the hole. So aside from not having as many swings that are effective, you are also putting yourself at a competitive disadvantage. And not only with the market, also with yourself in terms of reiterating over time and getting better faster. Now compare that to a nice green, a field that is green and nice with no wind, nice, comfortable climate. Maybe you have refreshments nearby, so you're in a good mood as well. Well, then it's easier for you to play the game at a very competitive advantage. Now, the same is true for your tax environment. You can be in a tax environment that is very burdensome, heavy, difficult, or you could, within the rules of the game, say, aha, let me change my climate. Let me change the playing field because it is available to you. But the only people who do so are the people who know, who are the people who are in the know. Obviously, large corporations are taking advantage of this, but within the rules, and to speak of a few, you have the Facebook, you have the Amazon, you have the Netflix, you have the Google, who are distributing and dissecting their different departments to make sure that they either stay within certain tax advantageous jurisdictions. And in those examples, it would be things like Bermuda or the Cayman Islands. Or they are, for example, like Facebook, they're very infamous for the double Irish with a Dutch sandwich tax scheme, as it's so beautifully called, which is no longer a viable option. But what they're doing is that they're taking advantage of the playing field and certain tax credits and incentives to optimize their business. And they're unlocking not a little, but a lot. And I reiterate, not a little, but a lot. They're effectively accelerating themselves into the future, as opposed to if they were not making use of these optimization tactics and strategies. But here's the good part. You don't have to be a large conglomerate. You don't have to be a large corporation in order to take advantage of the same rules within the game. And I am so excited, as you can tell, talking about these things, because we can make a major impact on the bottom line of what you're turning over in your business and what you're retaining if you are taking advantage of these strategies that we work with here in Remove. Now, get this out of here. You see, tax optimization is instant if you make the crossover. And what I mean by that, instant meaning it's not only unlocking more cash for you to refuel, more economic energy to put into your business, it's also affecting what Einstein so famously said, that the compounding effect is the eighth wonder of the world, the power of compounding. If you have more fuel now available to put into your business, you can effectively accelerate your business into the future compared to if you didn't have these funds available. Simply by changing the legal foundational barriers that encompass their operational structure. So they're able to take that instant growth, refuel it into their business, and grow faster and bigger than they otherwise would be able to do without this economic energy available. And our specialty here at Remove is tax optimized strategies for online service providers, online service providers who are at the very least turning over $1 million to $20 million a year. And I am very passionate about that because tax optimization is different for different businesses, different environments. And we live in a world where technology and this beautiful internet that we have that allows business owners who are in the online realm to rapidly scale and hit the masses of the market in different ways than brick and mortar businesses or certain type of businesses are able to do, traditional businesses, which allows us within this segment to greatly enhance your output from your business if you fit the criteria. Now, let me get a little drink here. Optimization happens on different levels. So you have your corporate tax structure, you have your sales taxes, you have your personal income taxes, you have certain tax credits and incentives that you can take advantage of. And we in Remove, we deal specifically with corporate taxation, and we can greatly minimize, if not get your corporate taxation to a 0%, which unburdens you from a lot of liability, tax liabilities. And indirectly through that, there are fund management strategies so that you can affect your net retained income on a personal level without having to change your personal income tax rate, because that would require that you perhaps domicile to another country, which is not something that we deal with. You don't have to leave your country. This is an important aspect. If you're within the segment of online business, which is why we are so passionate about what we do, because we're able to make such a big change in your bottom line within the criteria of the online businesses that we work with, you don't have to move to another country. Now, obviously, if you domicile in another country, you can further affect your personal income taxes on the money that you're able to take out of the business, but you are able to indirectly affect the amount on which you pay personal income tax on, all without having to leave your country. Now, the difficult part about tax optimization is in part twofold. So you have two sides of the same coin, and that is, on one side, you have legal compliancy and the actual strategy that you are within. You need to stay in the right jurisdictional climates, and you have to do it within the rules of the game. Now, the other part is to be able to do this without interrupting your business operation. So that means your collection channels. So you need strong banking partners. You need strong digital infrastructure and software that resonates in synergy with your legal jurisdictional restructuring. To give you an example, let's say you were to go to the British Virgin Islands and you set up a structure in the British Virgin Islands. Well, then I can tell you it's very difficult for you to find banking partners who want to support you, and also the worldwide technologies that allow you to send and receive payments worldwide so that you can operate your business. So you also need some strategy in terms of where you do it. And furthermore, once you find that, you also need to be sure that they are strong and reliable banking partners with a good reputation. It simply comes down to, what if there is an area of your business that lies outside of your operational standard that if you just knew, you could take advantage of it and instantly affect your bottom line? If you would like to learn whether or not we can help you, then I invite you to click around here, go through the steps of what it takes to get in touch, and then we will put you in touch with our sales representatives and advisors who first and foremost will inform and guide you on whether or not you fit the criteria so that we can serve you. And if that is the case, then we will help you optimize your taxes and help you take your business to the next level. I enjoyed this message. My name is Sammy from Remove, and I wish you well till next time.